We changed that to plain. Remember how we had the plain? Disney's tired. I hear that. That's our.
That's the wrong direction, I guess. Brian Hill.
Oh, good. Hi, I'm Stephanie. No, it's okay. We haven't started yet, so that's good. Okay. And you'll go
Under the River Road Trail, like on 102nd Street.
and then
South side of River Road.
here.
One of your fire hydrants. And then dirt slopes
Your
down.
spiel.
When you get up to like.
And we're nice.
One of your fire hydrants, I don't imagine when they build that thing, the dirt's gonna come up a little bit. But I don't know who's gonna do that, but you probably. I don't know how big of a deal that is.
No, we'll make it happen. We can do that.
Amber, your last name is Lester. Are you from Colonial Village by any chance?
No, I have a lot of time.
I used to know a Lester family from Colonial Village.
One school, got a place on
Alan Lester.
hours an hour.
No? Probably somewhere along.
There's a lot of.
Yeah, that would be okay with that. Somebody's going in there and get approved, they just gotta wait. Stick frame.
We have our meeting last week to get it, set up.
I could leave the job myself. I don't want to stay.
Welcome to the April 17th meeting. We have Amber Lester here. Amber, why don't you come on down and come to the podium if you'd like, and give us a brief explanation about the Niagara Community Action Program. Welcome.
My name is Amber Lester. I'm a program lead from Niagara Community Action Program. I work in the nutrition, outreach, and educational program for Niagara County. We have 3 outreach program offices. Excuse me. 564 19th Street, Niagara Falls, New York. The phone number is 285-6134. We also have an office in Lockport. That is West B, Washburn, Lockport, New York. The phone number is 433-6632. We also have one in North Tonawanda, 265 Falconer, North Tonawanda. The phone number is 694-97227. As a fair house advocate, we provide assistance to individuals and families who feel they have been discriminated against in areas of housing. Federal and state laws make it illegal for anybody to refuse to rent, sell a house, make housing loans because of race, color, religion, national origin, sex, marital status, disability, age, or because you have children. Under the Fair Housing Advocacy Program, Niagara Community Action Program will help see if the laws were broken, attempt to resolve your complaint, or prepare your complaint for referral to the appropriate federal, state, or local housing discrimination agency. If somebody feels as if they have been discriminated against, the first step would be to gather evidence of discrimination in the housing context. The landlord typically discriminates in the following ways: refusal to rent to you because your protected characteristics. Lies that the housing is not available in certain areas but stairs used to a different area. End your tenancy due to discriminatory reasons. Include limitations of preference and advertising. Create different terms for you as compared to other tenants who don't share your protected characteristics. Refuse to make reasonable accommodations for disabled tenants. Create unreasonable restrictions on how many people can live in an apartment. We also collaborate with Niagara Legal Services, both in Niagara Falls and Buffalo. The Niagara Falls office is the Neighborhood Legal Service, Inc. That's at 225 Old Fall Street, 3rd floor, Niagara Falls, New York. The telephone number is 716-284-8831. In the Buffalo office, Neighborhood Legal Service, 237 Main Street, 4th floor, Buffalo, New York. Their phone number is 716-847-0650.
Anybody have any questions for Amber?
And I'm just gonna say, Amber brought a bunch of pamphlets that'll be out on the table in front of the clerk's office with all the information for Niagara County taxes.
And Jaquinda was, business partner, if anybody has any questions for her.
Okay, is this the same group we pay $5,000 a year to, and if a senior citizen or somebody can't afford improvement on their house, occasionally, Wheatfield residents, use that benefit to have some improvements made on their dwelling?
That would be our weatherization program at, Main Street in Niagara Falls.
But it's part of the
Yes.
same group that you're with?
Yes.
I think this is Amber's first time.
Yes, it is. So a little nervous.
I can tell you're a little nervous. That's fine. You did a great job. Thank you.
Thank
Anybody have any
very
questions for
much.
Amber?
you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Have a good night.
Thank you.
Okay, bid openings for the equipment storage building.
We received one bid from Carco Building.
Mike, you notified other people to also bid as well as the.
I did.
Let's see. The total price is $47,655. Options. Then it has options, 5-inch concrete floor with vapor seal mesh, add 10,800, and then steel liner package, add 21,450. So that's in addition to the 47,655.
Thank you, David. We'll start our regular town board meeting to rise to the front of the list. I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible,
We ask your find wisdom to rest upon our leaders to guide them and protect us. Amen.
You guys hear me out there? For the record, all board members are present. Any public input? Approval of the minutes, April 3rd, 2023. Can I have a motion, please? So moved. And a second, all in favor, signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Minutes are approved. Approval of bill payment, April 17th, 2023. Voucher number 202-30491 through 202-30600 for a total amount of $448,554.70. Can I have a motion, please?
Second.
And a second, all in favor, signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Bills are paid. Department heads, Paul Seaman.
Not much. Getting busy. It's that time of the year. We have 4 crews out most days between patching, rebuilding catch basins, chipping. Just reminder people, put brush out, please put butt ends facing the road. And they try to make it around once every 2 weeks. I can't always guarantee that. If we get busy doing something, I pull the chipper off the road if I need guys for other jobs. I don't know if there's any other questions you guys got for me. I know your one board thing in here says about the pump that I request for the pump. I mean, it's really the board that wants me to get the pump. I don't want to take all the credit for that, but it's up to you guys. I just furnish the information and let you guys decide on what you thought. That's about all I got, unless you got questions.
Surplus materials, that on the motion? Yes.
Yeah, the wording of that, but I figured I'd wait till that came up.
I had one thing, Paul. We got the Liberty Drive cleanup this Saturday. Frontier Fire's opening up their facility for drinks and restrooms. Sewer treatment plant's gonna have a dumpster out there. We're probably gonna have over 30 Cub Scouts from PAC, say 33 and 824 in there. There are tires. I've gone through maybe, I think there's probably less than 10 tires, but is that something you guys will pick up before, or you wanna pick them up after?
If I can free some guys up, I'll have them go over there and pick them up before it happens.
And if there's anything on rims, I know you can't take them, just leave them there on the sewer plant, we'll take them.
Yeah.
Dumpster.
Yeah, because, I mean, Modern has gotten very selective. When we first started taking tires, they took everything. Then it was tires with no rims, and now they'll take truck tires and car tires, but no tractor tires. It's like every year they seem to make up more rules. But, yeah, I mean, if nothing else, if we get tires with rims, if the sewer can't take it, we can take them and try to break them down over at Mike's place on a machine and then get rid of the rim.
We're pretty lucky with Precious Plate sponsoring this event the last few years. We got like 30 scouts. They're gonna provide them with gloves, donuts. Last year they brought all these reachers or grabbers or whatever they call them on sticks with the claws.
Do you need a truck, Larry?
What's that?
Do you need a truck for yourself over there to pick up the stuff, or?
Maybe. Better than using my brand new truck.
Well, I'm just saying, I will not be in town this weekend, so if you need it, I can drop it off over there, or you can come over and pick it up.
Or maybe, well, they have a pickup truck here at Town Hall too, right, Mike, or does it still run?
It sure does.
I may just pull my vehicle over here, maybe swap with that. I come over Friday, maybe get the keys for that.
Yeah, I mean, I've done it in the past, just I have to go out of town this weekend, so.
Okay. And then one last thing, on River Road, near York Road, that drainage ditch that goes through.
Yeah.
And, there's a lot of that, the power grid, National Grid cleaned out a lot of trees over the winter. But there's a lot of trees in these last couple of windstorms that fell into that ditch.
Like at the dead end of Willow there, is that what you're talking about?
Kinda, yeah.
Okay.
You know, right where it crosses, you know where those two signs are? Billboard signs?
Yeah.
Right behind those billboards, that, big drainage ditch comes in from Liberty Drive.
Okay.
Crosses River Road there. It's full of dead trees now.
Okay, we'll try to get over there and.
You may wanna get those out before the vegetation starts growing.
Well, like I said, the town has no permanent drainage easements anywhere except for any subdivisions. So in order for me to go into any of these places,
I think the sewer district actually owns it.
well, if they do it, then it makes it easy, sure, but I mean, if it's private property, everybody always wants me to go in and pick stuff out of the ditch. I can't do that. I have to get permission from people to do it, unless it's actually flooding somewhere out. And in the case of an emergency, then I can go in and do it, but.
Yeah. But the other side of the street, I think the sewer district owns that little
Okay.
shaped lot.
Yeah, I can look on GIS, check
Okay.
that out.
Thank
We
you.
actually believe we might have a beaver dam going in back there too, so we'll get back in there looking around.
Okay, that's fine.
Water sewer department, Mark Clark.
Good evening, guys.
We got a couple things for the department. Our department's been out doing the yearly maintenance on the water main valves. And we're soon to be working on all the grinder tank maintenance along with the hydrants in town. And also, we had a little water leak on a hydrant valve on Liberty Drive that the crew repaired and did a great job repairing in a timely fashion. That's what I got.
Anything else? Anybody have anything for Mark? Mike Ronaldi, Recreation Director. Mike?
How are you doing? I don't have anything new to report in terms of things that were going on that I haven't touched on the last couple of board meetings, but last week was a nice week for us to get out, work on the diamonds. It's the earliest we've been on the diamonds in my tenure here at the Recreation Department. We were able to go and clean all our cul-de-sacs, fire halls, Mario, Legion, Lions Club, cemetery, kind of get all the sticks picked up, prepare to get those cut too. So there's that. Summer camps full, everyone's deposits paid, so we're ready to roll.
Anybody have anything for Mike?
Staffing looks good for summer and.
Should be, hopefully. Never know what we're gonna get, but
We're hiring something.
I'm excited, yeah, well, I hope they're good.
Thank you, Mike.
Good.
Assessor Kelly. Like I always forget.
I'm forgettable. You got it.
I turned in tentative roles to the county last week. We're getting ready to send out about 274 change of assessment notices this year. Matt and I haven't had many articles of it, but there's something in the motion for that later. So other than that, I'm working on all the state reports now that they send out for all the exemptions that I have to, my role has to match theirs from the state since they took over the STAR. So there's like almost 1,500 people I have to go through each parcel and make sure that my role matches what the state is authorizing. So we're in the process of doing that right now.
Anything else now? Anybody have any questions for Kelly? I know we have a motion, but I don't see.
Yeah.
Questions about that now? You want to explain in brief why we're doing that motion? Kelly?
So the Summit Park Mall parcels, there's 26 of them in total. They're suing us against their assessment on all 26 parcels. And,
26 or 22?
22, you're right, 22. Back in 2018, the former assessor lowered their assessment quite drastically, and then in 2021, the Board of Assessment Review, again, they came to grievance in 2021, and they brought it to the Board of Assessment Review, and the Board of Assessment Review lowered everything down to just land value, no value on any of the buildings or parking lots or any structures on any of those parcels. They were still not happy with that, so they filed an Article 7, and they're still suing us. Every time Matt and I go to a court hearing on this, the attorney representing them is just basically saying that Matt and I are ignoring what we're supposed to be doing. We're not trying to work out an agreement with them. We're just saying, you know, but I really don't feel that it's already been lowered. I think, what was it, 70% 76% in the last 5 years. It's been lowered over $4 million.
I think it was around, assessed at around 4 million and the assessment's down a little bit more than 1 now.
Yeah, I think all 22 properties are just over $1 million and everything. So, I mean, I understand that we don't have a town tax here, but the school and the county, it would hurt them drastically if we lowered it anymore. And I just feel that even though we don't have a town tax, the town still has to stand firm on these values, otherwise every commercial property is gonna come and want their assessments lowered. So.
We have a motion to address it later, as you'll see in our motion package. I think that was,
Where are these 22 parcels?
So, the Summer Park Mall is split up into numerous parcels and then all around it and everything, so there's 22 total.
The buildings, I think it's split up, the mall itself is
Yeah,
split
like
up, the
the
parking
Summit-
lot is split up,
The
areas
Sears
around
is
it.
one part, the Aldi's is another part, you know, just all, the Bonton was another part, so there are multiple parts.
So when we do this motion, the town's only gonna be responsible for like $2,600?
We're splitting it in thirds between the county, the school, and the town.
So the school district and the
They
county,
agree to
they
it, yes.
agree to it?
Yes, we're just waiting for you to agree to it, so we can put this in motion.
Thank you.
Yep.
thank you, Colin. Mike, not that you're not important. I'm sorry, I do that, I don't want to.
Well, Johnny, just figured that, you know, just getting back from vacation, I don't know what's going on anyway, so,
Find out one.
Yes, good evening. Good evening. Yeah, I've been gone for the last couple of weeks, trying to get caught up. This morning was a little bit chaotic, but, my staff did a great job keeping up with any calls, workload, et cetera. So it was a little easier transition getting back, so. But I have nothing really new to report. I know that when we opened the bid this morning, or this evening, I should say, for the building here, I did contact other contractors when we did put the estimates together, and that's all we heard back for, which is kind of surprising.
What size was that building?
I believe it was 30 by 40.
It was standard full barn, or was it all metal, was it metal?
It's a wood frame with a metal sheeting.
Just a standard.
Standard building.
It's also got like a wainscoted addition.
That's true too, it's got big.
Nice looking building. Okay, Mike, yeah, anybody, looks like we got a lot of houses.
Stuff's busy, yeah. And then if you saw the first house going up at the corner there, and, oh my gosh. Piedmont's the name of the street. I'm trying to remember the subdivision now. Whistling Straits. Yeah.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Council department.
No report.
Wasn't under there.
No report.
Good evening, everyone. We only have one thing on our agenda for you this evening, and that is our planning board report. It's actually from only one meeting on April 5th, but there was a lot going on that meeting, so I'll get right to it. We actually started off with a public information meeting for air-supported structures, and this is on the mall property. It has been before the planning board numerous times over the past, 4 or 5 years with one dome, two domes, metal buildings, and this is the latest submittal that's come in, and it's really at an early stage, just for discussion's sake. But the public information meeting was held to present their proposal to construct 2 air-supported structures on the east side of the Summit Mall. Each structure would be approximately 500 feet long by 260 feet wide, and would have a height of 85 feet. The structures would house sports fields and venues for various sporting venues. The applicant presented information on the proposed structures, which would be, the official name is called Airscape, air-supported cable structures. Many people were in attendance voicing support for the project, and some residents were there that voiced concerns about possible light impacts from illuminating the structures. They're different. Instead of being lit on the inside, there's actually light on the outside that shine onto these and come through the land on the inside. It's interesting concept. But there were concerns about that and any kind of illumination on the outside from that and noise from the equipment to keep them up. No action was required or taken for that public information meeting. The first agenda item was a repeat item from the previous meetings for a retail tobacco shop. The applicant proposes to renovate a portion of the existing building at 2708 Niagara Falls Boulevard into a tobacco shop. The business would sell tobacco and smoking accessories, but no THC products. The site is zoned commercial and falls within the Niagara Falls Boulevard overlay. Planning board continued discussion of the project with regards to pavement striping and site lights. This is actually all really internal modifications. There are no new structures being actually built on the site. Planning board determined that the project is type 2 action under seeker and no further environmental review was required, and then they subsequently approved the site plan with noted conditions. Site plan comes down to basically parking layout, striping on the lot to make sure that they can accommodate the required parking for all the businesses that are there. The next item is a site plan for a Shawnee storage building. The applicant proposes to construct a 60 by 56 foot storage building to support their existing business at 6656 Shawnee Road. This is that rectangular, I don't know if it was a former Nike base, or it's that base property that's set pretty far back off of Shawnee Road. The board discussed several items that must be resolved and addressed for that project as well, including the height variance, location of proposed structure on the site, and review by the fire advisory board. And there are formal site plan submission with applicable lands provided. So no action was taken on that project. The next item was a site plan for MR Development Custom Shop Buildings. This was on Shawnee Road. But the applicant withdrew from the meeting while their design engineer reviews and addresses the recent engineering comments on that project. The next item was a sign inquiry for the Whistling Straits subdivision. The applicant inquired about the possibility of installing a subdivision sign at the Whistling Straits subdivision. The applicant was advised that the town in general is not in favor of subdivision signs, as their operation and maintenance must be included as a deed restriction to a private owner. The applicant was advised that if they still wish to pursue a sign, they must revise applicable plans on their final subdivision set and seek approval from the town board after recommendation of the planning board. No action was required or taken on that inquiry. The last item on the agenda was the site plan for the Shawnee Golf Course. The applicant has reconstructed in kind the outside garage that was recently destroyed by fire. The garage was historically used to store and charge golf carts for the course. The applicant has now switched to gas-powered carts and no longer needs all the garage space for storage and charging. They are proposing to convert approximately half the garage space into an additional bar area for golfers. The space would have garage-type doors that could be opened in nice weather and would include additional bathroom facilities. Planning board discussed several items that the applicant will need to quantify and or address, including their utilities, parking, and any proposed site lighting. No action was taken on the site plan. So that is the summary of our last meeting. Is there any questions on any of those?
Tim, you did send out the proposed law?
Yes, and I left you a print of it on your desk. Emailed it to everybody along with a link to the state's guidance. Just put it with you.
So Tim, what are the next steps?
Yes, our proposal was a stripped down proposal, so we took a first shot at developing this draft law. Now it's in your hands to talk about and ask any questions on if there's anything you want to change or add to it. That was why sending along the state guidance was important. Because you'll see a lot of the things that were proposed in this draft basically meet the state guidance. There could be a concern if you try to be more restrictive than the state's guidance on some of those things.
And I wasn't here for the last meeting, so what, after you get feedback from the town board, what are the next steps that we're taking?
Well, once the board reviews that, any and all comments that you want to address, we will go to Matt, and Matt will work for us on finalizing how you want the final I'll alert you to be, and then
Once finalized, we would schedule a public hearing and then move forward from there.
Okay.
we'll go through, and we'll, when our public hearing is scheduled, that's when we'll also, do the coordinator review under seeker. So hopefully those both, or by design, those will both end at the same time, so you could, in theory, have the public hearing, and if everything is good to go with that, do a seeker motion and adopt the law, get it in place. You know, the state could change their guidance yet again, so, you know, it could be something that over the next year or two ends up getting modified by you a couple of different times if need be, but at least you'll have something in place to address these once the floodgates open.
You know, while we're talking about it, we've asked the board members to look it over, maybe make any comments to Matt or myself, and hope to have something in place for the next meeting. I mean, it's relatively simple.
Yes.
So I think that's something we could move on.
And really, the draft covers, dispensaries, consumptions, and there's another category in there, and it's escaping me right now, but it's, pardon?
Drive-throughs?
No, we pretty much said no for those, especially on the consumption part. No, it's another category, and it's kind of similar to like a micro, brewery, where they can do some kind of manufacturing or use, different uses of the product, but then also have a place there for whatever those are. It's like an edible or something like that. It's called micro. Thank you.
You want someday, there's people that'll be driving, like at lunch.
You thought a drive-through liquor store would be that, I suppose this would be good.
Thank you. Appreciate that. Motion, Matt Brooks. First motion from the Water Sewer Department. Resolved to authorize the Water Sewer Department to declare surplus and put a 2005 GMC Sierra 3500 4x4 dually and 4 tow behind 7.5 kilowatt unleaded fuel only generators, and for the Water Department to place their surplus equipment items on Auctions International for sale. So moved. Second. Motion and second, all in favor, signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carried. Next motion from the town board to resolve to authorize councilman and IT advisor Larry Helwig to attend the NYS LGITDA Spring Conference in Syracuse, May 2nd through 5th, 2023, and all costs related to said IT conference, which is to be expected at $100. So, second. Motion and second, all in favor, signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carried. Next month, motion from our budget director, be it resolved that the town board hereby approves and authorizes the use of a portion of the American Rescue Plan Act grant used to purchase a new dry prime CD 150S pump for the Global Series 6 trailer kit, associated parts and delivery at a total of $76,940. So moved. Second. And a second. All in favor, signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carried. Next motion again from the budget director, be it resolved to approve amendments to the 2020 general fund and sewer fund budgets to provide the estimated revenues and budget appropriations for the use of a portion of the American Rescue Plan Act grant to be used for the purchase of new dry prime CD 150S pump for the Global Series 6 trailer kit and associated parts and delivery, and that's as presented in the motion package. So moved. Second, all in favor, signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Carried. Next motion again, I'm just following up, for the town board resolved to authorize the request of Paul Beekman for the emergency $6,941 from his island. This is to address flooding on Railroad Court and is needed on occasions for immediate use to protect the health, safety, and welfare and property of residents. Said emergency purchase avoids the requirement of competitive bidding and is the equipment needed by the town of Wheatfield immediately and is to be paid for with ARPA funding. So moved. Second on the question, that's a 6-inch pump, 8-inch? 6-inch. So that's what that Series 6 means? Yes. Okay. We have a motion to second, all in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried.
Next motion from the Recreation Department to hire Nicholas Kosis, John Cicio, Raymond Lewis, Brandon Cole, Trey Amaker, and Anthony Eustace as summer seasonal health groundskeepers at a rate of pay and terms pursuant to the job specifications of the Recreation Department, seasonal health, and pending approval of the human resources of the Nevada County Department of Agriculture. So moved. Second.
Motion is second, all in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried.
Next motion again from the Recreation Department, hire Lisa Delmer, Stacey Eckler, Matt Jelen, Juliana Maglio, and Dominic Hickok as summer seasonal health park guards at a rate of pay and terms pursuant to the job specifications of the Recreation Department seasonal health and pending approval of human resources in the Madison County Criminal Justice.
So moved. Motion is second, all in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried.
Next motion from Highway Department, and it is slightly altered, as Paul corrected me with it after it was written up, and I'll read the corrected version, I believe here. To approve and authorize the request of Paul Sigmund, Highway Superintendent, for the board to declare that the leftover fine aggregate from micro paving is surplus, and to be available to town residents with amounts of a ton or greater to be charged at the rate of $5 per ton with no delivery available.
So moved. Second. And a second, all in favor, signify by saying aye. Opposed? Motion carried.
Next motion from the town assessor and town attorney, resolved to approve and authorize the request of the town attorney and town assessor to engage Gar Associates LLC for a preliminary appraisal report for the 22 Summit Park Mall parcels for a grand total of $8,000 to be split equally between the town, county, and school district, $2,666.67 each, for use in the Article 7 tax assessment proceeding brought by some Valley.
And a second, all in favor, signify by saying aye. Opposed? Motion carried.
Next motion from our budget director, be it resolved that the town board is hereby approve the following 2022 year-end budget transfers in order to balance out various appropriation and expense accounts, and that is as presented in the motion package.
Motion moved.
So moved.
Second. And a second, all in favor, signify by saying aye. Opposed?
Next motion is from the budget director, be it resolved that the town board hereby approve, excuse me, we have to, yes, no, okay, sorry. Be it resolved that the town board hereby approves and authorizes the use of a portion of the American Rescue Plan Act grant for the use of the purchase and installation of an inclusive playground at Paramount Park at a total cost not to exceed $437. On the question, $437. $437,000. Sorry, got the word thousand.
That's a good deal, huh?
So before we approve this one, just to feel so uneventful, to just go approve this, it's been an effort that we've been working on for the better part of a year, actually, to bring an inclusive playground to Fairmount Park. And what an inclusive playground is essentially a playground for everybody, but it caters also to children with disabilities. And we're really excited to be offering it. It's a really hot thing that a lot of towns are doing now. We've had a committee, Mike Rinaldi has been helping to lead that committee, board members, and also residents have been a part of the committee. And we've worked really hard to kind of look at all the options that are available. And after a lot of deliberation, a lot of work to kind of bring our options to be apples to apples, so we're weighing it appropriately. We're finally to the point where we feel good about moving forward with the plan. So, I'd like to make a motion to move forward.
Well, I want to just say, Kurt, you and your committee, everyone involved, keep making this happen. You would say it's been a challenge, a couple ways, but it's for the best of the Wheatfield residents, especially for the I'm thrilled to see think it's time for the vote, because we have to, okay, I'll make the motion. I'll make the second. All in favor, signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carried. Okay, on the same topic from the budget director, be it resolved to approve an amendment to the 2023 general fund budget to provide the estimated revenue and budget appropriation for the use of a portion of the American Rescue Plan Act grant to be used for the purchase and installation of an inclusive playground at Fairmount Park, and that's the numbers as presented in the motion package.
So moved.
Second.
Motion and second, all in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried.
And then, another motion from the town board, same topic, resolve to accept the proposal of architects as the vendor to supply the town's inclusive playground at Fairmount Park for a total cost not to exceed $437,000, piggyback off New York State, state bid, based on the factors of A, lower cost, B, more robust warranties, maintenance plan, compliance plan, and C, outstanding reputation backed by Western New York references. Said inclusive playground is to be paid for with our funds.
And motion to move. And a second. All in favor, signify by saying aye. Opposed? Motion carried.
In a future meeting, we'll look to share, where we're at it, more visuals of how it's gonna look, and, look for that, we'll keep coming back to the next one.
Okay, then we have two supplemental late motions came in, from the town board, resolved that the town of Wheatfield hereby agrees that upon completion of the Greenway River Trail project, identification number 5760.75, New York State Scenic Byways Project, multi-use trail in the town of Wheatfield, Niagara County, that the town will accept ownership and maintenance responsibilities of said trail.
So moved. And
Second.
And all in favor, signify by saying aye. Opposed? Motion carried.
And then the last supplemental motion, from the town board, resolved that the town board authorizes the highway department to assist in minor patching of potholes at the parking lot of the American Legion at 6525 Ward Road, Sanborn, New York, 14122. Due to shared services with the town, on the condition the Legion agrees in writing that it shall indemnify the town, hold the town harmless from and against any and all liability, damage, expense, cost of action, suits, claims, penalties, or judgments arising from injury to persons or property, or from loss of life of property, sustained by anyone arising from any acts, omissions of the American Legion in connection with its ownership and use of the project, except for specific acts of negligence committed by the town, its employee agents, or persons acting with this condition under their control. This indemnification will hold harmless of the American Legion to the town. It shall also apply to accidents, slips, and or falls on property, especially in connection with said pothole repair.
Before we put it to a motion, Paul, were you aware of Matt finding the original agreement? With the Legion?
I think Paul was here with Kathy.
Yes.
With Kathy.
I know I stepped out. The only issue was that it didn't have to be indemnified, right?
Right.
In the original agreement, so.
It did, we probably, if we're gonna continue with an agreement, the other agreement was from 2008, we'll have to modify it and update it, but
I just wanna make sure, Paul, if they sign it before we do any work.
Okay, just give me a copy of it and I'll get it to them, get it signed.
Because, the original agreement didn't protect us so long.
Okay.
Thank you. Anything else?
no, it's the motion, Davis,
Have a motion, please.
So moved.
And, all in favor, signify by saying aye. Opposed? Motion carried.
Okay, and that is it for the motion.
Do you want to make a motion granting Matthew Cronin illegal assets, the zoning board of appeals for a certain undisclosed, at this point, undisclosed time? That was worded right out.
Well, it just be the town board resolves to, grant a leave of absence for, personal reasons to, Matthew Cronin from the zoning board of appeals.
I'll make the motion.
I'll second it.
And second, all in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried.
And with that, I don't believe there are any other motions.
Kathy, you have any for us?
The only thing we have is, we turned the tax roll back to the county, and we collected $19,966,000 some odd dollars. And the town portion of the interest collected was
Hey, Don, I just got one more thing. For you guys to know, I mean, where your money's going, if you wanna take a chance and stop down at the highway garage, the town's new fuel system, they put the tanks today, the above-ground tanks. I mean, these guys really know what they're doing. They had that big crane there. When they set them tanks down, they never had to pick them up and move them. They were right in the exact spot that they were putting them.
I took a run over this afternoon and checked them out, if you guys got a chance,
I mean, we're still a few weeks out. They figured right now they gotta wait for some parts, but it looks like a pretty nice setup. The only thing I can see when we're done is I'd like to buy a couple Christmas trees, put them in front of the tanks, and kind of block it from the view of the road. But I forgot to tell you guys that, but, so you can see where your money's going.
Yeah, looks great.
It's a nice setup.
Looks really good. You guys got a chance, check it out.
Are you using the old gas boy, or is there a new one, or how do you?
We actually had to update everything. The actual, the old gas fuel pump itself was left over from the tank before these tanks. It was probably 50-something years old. And any kind of leakage we did have didn't come from our tanks, it came from our old pumps.
But the key card, the card.
We're gonna use key cards again, yes, but they're gonna put, I think, basically a whole new system in, because by the time we would pay for the updates, it's cheaper just to go with the new system, but we will still go with the cards.
Are they gonna run a new, wire out there?
It's all new wiring, everything.
Okay, good.
Check it out.
And they actually, we paid a little extra because all the diesels are taking DEF, that added up to the diesel fuel. We didn't have a tank put in, but we had to run conduit and everything. So if we decide down the road somewhere that we wanna have that all done, all the conduit's already there, and all they gotta do is wire it and set the tank. Sorry about that, thanks.
Not a problem. Next meeting is May 1st, 2023 at 7 o'clock. Motion to adjourn. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm trying to cut it short. Sorry about that. Larry, how are you? I am so sorry. Larry, how are you? How you doing? Good? No? Is there anything else while you're talking?
Two things, just remind Mike, I'll be in Friday to get the key to your, yellow truck. And Liberty Red clean up the town board, starts at 9 o'clock. If you wanna bring a dozen donuts, I'm sure the Furies themselves would love to eat some more donuts. And the last thing.
Larry takes it home.
They eat them all. They don't go home until all the donuts are gone. Last thing is, the town is using Know Before, it's a cybersecurity training company. I've notified all the department heads, and they sent out training, I don't know, a week or so ago. So far, 40% of the employees that were sent the training have taken the training. I'll send a reminder to all the department heads tomorrow of who hasn't taken the training, but you should, if your email is active, and I think if your email's registered with them, you should get an email from, it's Know Before, KNOWBE4. And training is gonna be maybe once a quarter, and then they send out these test phishing attacks, so they're gonna pretend like they're a bad guy, and they wanna see if people are clicking on stuff they shouldn't be clicking on.
That's why we don't click on there, Larry.
Yeah, we thought you were saying.
Yeah, we're always afraid of something bad.
How this
So
goes.
they thought these are the bad guys, so I'm gonna have to remind you that these are the good guys.
Larry, I took the training.
How do you know? You never know. But just to follow that up with one story, you led that into me. I've gone to a lot of FBI training classes on cybersecurity and that, and the Pentagon got hit once, and this goes back maybe 10 years ago. And you would think that our government, like the Pentagon, would have cops that, but now you got people in the military giving stuff out. But anyhow, the Pentagon, the top general there, the secretary would order Chinese food every Friday to go. And what they did, and they were secure, their networks and everything was secure. What happened is the secretary logged in to a Chinese restaurant that was across the street. Unfortunately, that Chinese restaurant got hacked. So as soon as she signed in to put their order in with her computer in the Pentagon, everything that the Chinese restaurant had came right back into the Pentagon, and they got hacked pretty bad. But this goes back, and it never made public news or anything, because I think the FBI, everybody kept it quiet. But when you go to some of these seminars that I go to sometimes, the FBI gets, they tell you some of these horror stories of where people actually got cooked and fished. And, That was one of those stories I just wanted to let you know.
So we learned not to order Chinese food.
We don't have any Chinese restaurants across from the town hall, we're clean. That I'm done.
I heard they also spent $1,000 on a camera. Yeah, the Pentagon.
Little was that.
While we're on training, over, I don't know, a month or so ago, we approved the new training program. Has anybody had a chance to use any of the departments?
We did have a meeting about a week and a half ago, that, got us up to speed, but I don't know if you guys have assigned any yet to your employees.
A couple of guys at our department used a couple classes, like the sexual harassment, they went through that seminar already.
Anyone of yours, Paul yet, or Mike?
Well, it wasn't a month, like, when we first got it, about a week and a half ago, my deputy's been on vacation. He takes care of most of the safety training in our department, so I'm waiting, he'll be back tomorrow, and we're gonna hopefully start on it then.
The town board's probably not aware that we bought 3 tablets for each of the departments too. We had them out of the department head meeting, so are the tablets working decent?
Tablets are great, but, you know, last week it was 75 degrees outside. I can't afford to have my guys inside doing training when I have too many things to do outside.
Right.
So it's gonna be when we get a rain day like tomorrow.
Today and tomorrow.
Yeah, I mean, part of the.
They were cutting grass today.
Part of the thing with training, this training is that, it will be very effective to use in downtime when the weather's lousy. So like a day like tomorrow, or the snow, that's when we're gonna be getting into it.
Anything else?
That's it.
Thank you, Bill. Kurt?
Yeah, so I got some updates on the walls in Wheatfield that the engagement volunteers are working on. So the best way to kind of provide the context is the existing wall that is at the corner of Nash and Niagara Falls Boulevard. We recently made some investment there, put a sign up. It looks beautiful right now. There's some spring decorating at the corner. And we're working on a couple of sister walls, 2 additional walls. One at the corner of Ward Road, that's gonna go right here near Town Hall, right in front of the church. It's gonna be, you know, pretty front and center at that intersection, and it's gonna have what you see here, a tractor, some neat, kind of match what we have, already on the pillars at Nash. But behind the tractor here, we also have some, logos, one representing the town on the left, and then the county on the right. In addition, the third wall, to complete the trifecta here, is Whitmer. Whitmer Road, DOT is doing this corner and Ward. It's already getting pretty torn up, pretty bad, at least at Ward right now. And this one's going to be at Whitmer, and it's a little nod to our, one of the things that, I don't know that everybody's aware, but a plane was created at Bell Aerospace that was the first plane to break the sound barrier. So, really important piece of our history, and we just want to kind of call that out and remind all of our residents and passersby along Niagara Falls Boulevard of it. So here, X1 breaking the barrier is what we're proposing to that wall. Now, this one, we felt it important to run by some representatives from Niagara Falls Air Force Base, the museum. And Justin Tigger, our historian here, who's been in the audience, helped us make the connection with the right person. And the gentleman did have a few very small tweaks that we're going to make to the plane, but he's very supportive of the effort. So we think we got all our I's dotted, T's crossed, and we're ready to go on this, and looking forward to moving on to the next phase, which is procurement and ultimately installation. We expect these walls to be done when the intersections are done by the end of this year. So this is on the short-term path.
Just so you know, I did meet with the construction manager over there.
Great.
So we're doing very well. The weather's giving them a break. I'm surprised though that they were gonna do the bridge, the concrete bridge installation. I don't know what all the way is there. They were gonna do that last fall. All of a sudden, the news stops on. They had the machines in the place. So we'll find out.
I have a question on that. When they do the Ward Road Bridge, is that intersection gonna be out of commission for a short while, a long while?
At least 3 weeks.
3 weeks.
They said at least 3 weeks.
Are they gonna start posting some signs?
They are going to post ahead of time, they're gonna post rerouting for traffic. In fact, they already have a preliminary rerouting of traffic. There's also gonna be the corner of the road here is gonna be closed, I'll make sure that both intersections are not closed at the same time. They have to run a gas line across Church Road, and we have a state right away, but it's, see the gas line over here, so they come across. And so this road will be open for everybody else. Even though one thing I noticed, you see the DEC was over on the corner with their hazardous waste.
I think somebody forgot to tell them there was a gas station there years ago.
Yeah, you know, and if you look at the soil they removed from there, it was very dark. And I remember years ago, there was a gas station there, everybody else was using it.
I remember.
They had tanks there. One of the reasons it was closed was because the fuel tanks were expensive. I saw the soil, if anybody noticed it coming out, it was almost black.
I kinda laughed when you said they were ahead of schedule, and I said, yeah, probably till today, because I seen the DEC down there today, I'm
He was
like,
there last week too, Paul, they found it last week.
oh, they did.
Yeah.
There was 3 tanks total, I was there today doing a walkthrough with you guys.
What's that?
There was 3 tanks total they ran into,
Did they?
so they removed all the waste, and there was oil, gas, and diesel, I guess apparently, but they removed them all, and they, if you look now, they're on the ground, crushed up.
I wondered if they're gonna hit something. Okay, where are we? We're with,
I just have one other quick update. Paul, you and I are aligned, but I don't think everybody else heard. So a couple weeks ago at the board meeting, we talked about streetlights, a lot of them being out, and I think, we've got that all sorted out now. All the lights are working, streetlights are working in the town. We've got a kind of a plan moving forward, for making sure that we, report it. And the one thing I wanted to let everybody know, we also talked about Walmart in Lockport. There's a light there that's been there, hasn't been on for a year. They started digging around about that, and they the DOT put a meter up there. And what I found is all streetlights moving forward, it sounds like there was a regulation or a law put into place, and any streetlight that we do moving forward or any change requires a meter. And that meter requires us to have an electrician hook up that streetlight in order to get it working. So that thing would have been sitting there forever until we actually send out an electrician to get it going. And we also have to, of course, pay some.
it's nice if they told us.
At least we found out now, but.
And if you've noticed, one of the other things, I mentioned this to Paul today, we have come to the intersection of, Niagara Falls Boulevard and Shawnee Road. And they came in and they removed all the debris, and they left all the time or the, railroad ties there. And I finally got a hold of a guy, Eastern States representative, that removing the steel portions, because I think the creosote still in. So we'll see how soon they get that coming. It's a mess. He said they would remove it, and I see they are taking the rails out, of course, they have the wood still in, so we'll see how quickly that gets.
So Don, can I work with, Joe to get that, push up?
How were we supposed to know that, Bert? I mean, that was since they did the intersection, that power did that about 2 years ago, right?
Yeah, we've done light relocations over the past couple of years, and it's always the same, they relocate it, or they hook up, and it gets added to our bill. And whatever, sounds like some law went into effect, and the message never made it back to me, I'll tell you that. It was back, I don't think it made it back to any of us.
We have a bucket truck at highway, but everything Joe has to do is at ground level.
Get ground level. Is my understanding.
If he needed a bucket truck or anything, if he,
He's gotta be certified to go up in it.
okay, so who would have to do that, that's Skippy?
He's not an electrician.
Oh,
So you got an electrician that can be on the ground, you got a guy that can go up in a bucket, but neither one of them can do both.
Mark Zellner.
Unless he's got his certification.
Mark Zellner.
Yeah, there you go.
Mark Zellner, he'll help us out.
Yeah. Mark's been very good from North Carolina to us.
So Don, you had a suggestion?
Well, no, I'll show you after we're done.
Oh, okay.
Randy Russell.
One quick thing, Paul, we passed the thing about millings about, many, many years ago for $5 a ton for milling. That's still in effect, correct?
Yep.
Is that just for town residents, or is that for anybody?
The millings are pretty much for anybody, because the millings we're only allowed to keep so much of, or the DEC can get you, because they consider it hazardous waste, because it has asphalt in it. It really is, it's stone. But you're only allowed to keep so much in your property, so I really like to keep that turned over. I don't like to keep too big of a pile. We had the dirt, there's still a pile of dirt there that was listed as surplus, but most of that got hauled away. You know, people used it through the course of the years. The millings are considered surplus. I do keep some, but, you know, and then this other grit stuff, what happens is, when they do this micro paving, they always order more than they need. This stuff's already been paid for. They don't take it with them, and they won't reuse it. Like, I've had them come out and do micro paving later on in the year, and I'm like, I got a pile of stuff right there. They won't use it because they're afraid of contamination, whether it's from animals, stones get thrown in it or whatever. They won't reuse it. So whenever they come out with brand new aggregate, and basically tell us, well, you can have that stuff when we're done. I usually try to make them take as much as they can with them, because I don't want to be stuck with the stuff. We have used it for like backfilling, we got to backfill electric lines, gas lines. I let water department know if they need, instead of sand, they can use that to backfill if they're going around a water line or whatever. They're welcome to use it. We don't have that much area there, and we keep collecting more. I want to try to keep it cleaned up a little bit.
Anything else, Randy? And I have no report tonight. And, we already did the public input, none there. And our next meeting will be May 1st, 2023 at 7 o'clock.
We have a public hearing at 6:45 down for, local law 223 on zoning.
And what's the answer?
Amendments to chapter 130 plumbing.
Oh, okay. And that'll be at the next meeting?
Yep, at 6:45.
6:45 on the third, okay. Now we have a motion to adjourn. I'm trying.
Second.
Okay, all in favor, signify by saying aye. Opposed? Motion carried. We are adjourned. Thank you for coming.